At 84, Catholic priest, Father Mouche has dedicated almost 50 years to working with young people in northern Canada. He is known as the father of skiing in the north.
Father came here in 1954 and he introduced skiing to the people of Old Crow.
Mouche was motivated by the belief that a young person's early physical training and development is closely linked to the growth of a healthy self-image and identity.
It was like, Mary, you got the potential, you could do it, prove who you are, and go for it. And I took it from there.
Mouche dedicated the next 47 years to working with young people in small communities in the Yukon and Northwest Territories and assisted in developing not only world-class athletes like Mary Frost, but more importantly, individuals equipped to survive and lead.
The whole idea was a philosophical idea to change the low self-esteem into self-esteem.
As he trained children in the North, Mouche formed ideas that may hold a key to leadership and survival for children and communities everywhere, as we cope with rapid social change today. Father Mouche came to the North as a survivor of a war that had torn Europe to pieces. During World War II, he served in the French resistance, along with fellow priests from the Oblate Order.
I was in concentration camp. I seen my friends shot by the Gestapo, and well, all that is a trauma, but at the same time, it's an experience, It helps you to understand more human nature, and you want to improve it. The people you're living with or you come in contact, you want to try to tell them, well, do something, be responsible, so this is not going to happen again.
After the war, the order sent Father Mouche to northern Canada.
Well, I mean, the North, I dreamed about it when I was a child. I think if you believe in God, I think there was a calling there.
He discovered a world that did not fit a European mind and sensed a powerful mystery there. When Father Mouche arrived in Old Crow in 1954, he was a shepherd without a flock. The community was already served by the Anglican Church. Instead of trying to make converts, Mouche decided to reach out to the Gwich'in people to learn a new way of life and to try to pursue a dialogue between worlds. Old Crow is the most isolated and northern community in the Yukon in the far north of Canada. It is the home of the Vuntat Gwich'in people. Beyond Old Crow Mountain is the vast area of wetland, Old Crow Flats. These lakes and marshes are abundant in life. Called Vuntat by the Gwich'in people, the area has been the foundation of their trapping economy for decades. In the 1930s, people gave up a nomadic lifestyle and based their camps along the river. They built canoes from which to hunt muskrats each spring. Mouche met a people who were self-reliant and confident. He felt he had little to teach them and much to learn.
Tried to help Father Mouche out now, and then he came along and went with us, and we had a lot of good hunts.
As summer gave way to fall, the cold nights returned. The river cooled. Autumn approached like a powerful force. The Porcupine River was a barrier which caribou herds must cross at some point. For the Gwich'in hunters, a winter survival depended upon being there at the right time. Caribou are physically a match for the rugged land, and the people who depended on them developed great reserves of physical energy and endurance.
I say it was a hard life, but then we thought it was a good life. Hunting, trapping, walking all the time on snowshoe. You gotta walk ahead of dogs, you know, they put a load behind you and you break trail ahead of them, and you're walking all the time and you never get tired. I never thought nothing of it. I thought that's life. I thought I was going to live like that all my life.
My people trained me for everything. 7 daughters and 7 boys we got. And I learned to train them and how to look after people and all how you get along with other people. If this man well trained, nobody can beat him.
An Arctic spring is the world of snow and light, and to Moshe, many promises and possibilities were whispered on the north wind. Somehow Moshe resisted the Western ways of thinking, the logic and reason he had been trained in, and tried to find new ways to understand this world.
You cannot help to see the beauty of a place like that, even when it's 50 below or the wind is blowing and all that. The nature, the people, the society itself, it becomes a teacher to you.
Could the body form a way of thinking, of seeing? Could this consciousness be a result of physical experiences? Through the 50s, people in Old Crow were at the threshold of change. At the construction of a day school, the families moved from their camps to be in town. It was an event that would have great impact on the lives of everyone. Father Moshe reflected on the changes ahead. He wrote in his journal, "In the clarity of a disappearing day, the river carries thoughts beyond the world passing by, past the camps and the lifestyle they represented that seemed about to fade and transform, organized in a new way by forces which you are unwillingly, unknowingly part of." It seemed to Father Moshe that the connections to the old world were breaking. The society was in economic and cultural transition. In 1959, an international team of physiologists visited Old Crow and concluded that the people ranked near the highest trained athletes in the world. How could the traditional physical fitness and strength of the Gwich'in be reflected back to the young people to help them through the changes in their world?
Looking at the youngster in that community and seeing them moving into a new world, the world of the white man with the white economy and all that, the school. And I realized that what you call low self-esteem was going to hit them pretty hard. Being a skier myself, I thought by bringing them up to a high level of performance in cross-country skiing, this would probably transform them, give them motivation, confidence in themselves, high self-esteem and all that, and that's what we did.
Father Moshe come around and he started skiing. So we cut those ski trails. Oh, everybody was helping. But like I said, they're pretty tough. boys and girls, they really ski. And there was quite a few of them. And this too, they really was champions. Martha Benjamin and Ben Charlie. I guess the reason I got into it is because there was not very much going on in Old Crow that time as far as recreation was concerned, and there really was nothing else.
When Ben was first growing up, he was a smart guy. They pick him for skiing. We really help him and we work hard for him. I cook real good for him. I do everything, especially when he skis.
Lots of things you have to follow to be a good skier. And snowshoe, same way. We also spent a lot of time out in the bush on the trap line, and that's one of the reasons Father Moshe started skiing too, because he figured everybody, you know, are already in shape.
Father Moshe talked to my elder brother, Abe Thomas. He told my brother to tell me, just go and try it. So I went out and I said, okay, he's going to teach me how to ski. He told me, Isaac, you're going to be a champion by springtime.
Ski got to be how instructor's going to train you. You have to follow. If you don't follow, you're not going to be a good skier. Father Moshe was my instructor, and he was really a nice man to get along with, and taught us many things.
I had to run 3 miles every morning before breakfast.
No time to wash you and just jump in our clothes and go out and start running. Our instructor, Father Moshe, was right there. He just left here. No, he was running right beside us. Even that, he'd tell us faster, you know.
You know, all the ski technique is a matter of feeling, yeah? They took to it so fast, you know, that's what amazed me. They were tough. You see what I mean by tough? You know, the winter, I see them packing water, running with their dogs, hide of the dogs, you know, all those things. Went to many competitions and we really did good in that. Cross-country skiing, one of the ladies from Old Crow won the Canadian National Championship that year, 1964.
Martha Benjamin, a young mother of 5, outraced every woman in Canada to become the national cross-country skiing champion. This really put Old Crow on the map.
Before this, we had our mail service from Alaska. We used to get our mail service from Fort Yukon, Alaska, once a month. After this, they even started their mail service to run from Dawson to Old Crow. Everything changed a lot after that.
Father Moshe's ski program expanded in the 60s with some government funding and a bigger name, TEST. Territorial Experimental Ski Training Programs were running in Old Crow, Inuvik, and somewhat later in Whitehorse. The young skiers came to Old Crow for summer training camp with Father Moshe.
He basically taught that, see that hill? You could ski up that hill. You know, once you get up there, you can have a nice slide down on the other side of life, you know? And that's basically the same thing about life, is that you work hard, you sweat, you go through all that, oh, I don't want to do this, but you keep on going, you get to the top, and then it gets a little bit easier just for a little while, you know? You bask in the glory for a little while, you know? And then another bigger hill comes along. But, you know, it doesn't seem to be such a terrible hill after you've conquered the first hill.
Sometimes you have to be tough with them. But, you know, I see the old people here, they were pretty tough on their kids too. You know, a child is a child, he has to be guided. And sometimes if you let things go too far the other way, he will blame you later on not to have brought him back to the right track.
Fred Kelly was probably one of the best athletes I've ever met in my whole life. And he was one of the best runners and sprinters. And I remember him doing that 100-yard dash, and Father Mouche came out, and I don't know how old Father Mouche was at that time. He was older than certainly all of us, and like I said, Fred was 17, 18, top shape, best physical condition of his life. And he was really sprinting. Father Mouche started running by him and left him in his dirt. And I thought, wow, wow. What else can you say?
Most kids in the Inuvik test skiing program were from remote places in the north and went to residential school. For many, it was difficult to be away from the home, away from the land. Father Mouche's ski program made all the difference.
Here I was, out in the bush. Then one minute I was in a town of 3,000 to 4,000 people. It was totally different. I didn't know what a gymnasium was. I didn't know what a study period was. I didn't know what a big school was. So I was terribly, terribly lost. The only time that I felt comfortable was when I was skiing out on the land. You know, I felt like I was at home again. I felt like I was out hunting. I felt like I was out setting snares. You know, if there was any help in preserving my sanity during those early years, was that Father Mouche allowed me to go out on the land during these very chaotic times that I think I could have easily went astray, you know. But his program kept some sanity in my life because it gave me a chance to get out on the land.
Father Mouche didn't have a parish, and instead of pursuing converts, he dedicated his life to the children and to promoting their fitness and self-esteem. Overt religion did not enter into Mouche's fitness program.
He didn't come to Old Crow to try and inflict religion on us or anything like that. He seen our spirituality already, our spiritual connections already, and he enforced that. He taught us a lot of personal skills, like to build our confidence. And he taught us to be honest, and that you have to try, and you have to try to your maximum potential. Even though I didn't excel in the sport, I didn't become a champion like I wanted to be, but those are the fundamental things that I've picked up from those times.
He never really spoke to us about religion and spirituality too much, you know. One thing I did realize, though, through the course of time was that he took us out into what I call God's true church, which is the land. He just let us discover it on our own. Cross-country skiing is the way that we were able to go out and develop ourselves. When I started the test program, I was like 8 years old, and I remember starting, and I remember it myself particularly having a difficult time really learning the technique at first. I was kind of like the last guy out on the skis. Father Mouche was always there, and he was constantly inspiring us and motivating us. One year it just clicked. All of a sudden everything came together, and I started skiing really well. It seemed like the perfect sport for the north. I remember a lot of races, especially when I was younger, up in Inuvik. We used to go up to Inuvik every year for Top of the World Ski Championships. All the best skiers were there. All the world and Olympic champions were there. We got a chance to rub shoulders with them. We got a chance to to see the best. We got to race, and we always managed to get our share of the hardware.
New stars emerged. The twins from Inuvik, Sharon Firth and her sister Shirley, were Canada's leading female skiers for close to a decade.
We started probably competing already at home when we were really little. I mean, my mother used to take us out Sneddix snares and fishing. And if you got the best and biggest fish, or you got the most in your snares, it means you were pretty good. And getting into the test program also, we were pretty fortunate, I guess, because we were at the right place at the right time. I was a daydreamer, and I always wondered if I would, see the world, travel, be somebody, and then that's when the test program came into my life. An opportunity was there, and I took advantage of it, and through skiing, it brought me places. So it's basically just setting small goals and working towards those goals.
The Firth sisters went on to race in 3 North American championships and 4 Olympic Games.
Sure, when you win a race, you feel good, you feel excited, you feel that you're the best that day. But winning isn't everything, because you have to work up towards that win. So what you put into it is what you're going to get out of it.
These skiers from little northern communities rapidly became a dominant cross-country skiing force in North America and challenged the best in Europe. The girls from Old Crow, Mary Frost and cousins Shirley, Glenna and Agnes Charlie, made a clean sweep of the Canadian Junior Championships in 1971, first, second, third, and fourth.
And, coming from a small place that hardly anybody knew, but I think we opened up a lot of eyes to a lot of people throughout Canada and the United States of just who we were throughout our skiing. And it was always, come on, you Frost girls, and it was like, we knew somebody was behind us, just like, Father, keep going, challenge yourself, be the best you can,
It has not much to do with skiing, although some of the youngsters who started there went to the Olympics and all that, but that was not the whole idea. The whole idea was a philosophical idea to change the low self-esteem into self-esteem.
Despite its success in the late 70s, the test ski program began to fade away at the grassroots level. The stars of the program and their coaches moved into international competition. Funding and support began to disappear, and most importantly, Father Mouchet retired from Old Crow and moved to Whitehorse. He found that kids in suburbs and cities have just as serious problems with self-esteem as kids anywhere in the north. Mouchet decided to continue his ski program there. For 2 decades now, the Whitehorse Test Ski program has included a summer training camp.
It's gonna be the hamstring. Okay, get ready, set, go!
On the shores of Teslin Lake near Whitehorse, young people rediscover the connection between hard work, physical development, and self-esteem. At 84, Father Mouchet is still involved.
To be involved in intense work, with a good night's sleep, good food, that youngster is going to develop very well. This is the superfood.
It immediately has to swim to the surface. And it uses these little paddle-like...
Good, take your time. Work on it.
Oh, yeah, Pap, go.
Yeah, only way is up. Okay, slowly down, keep sliding, keep sliding.
Rudy Sudrick has been coaching the White Horse Test program for many years.
The whole idea for any sport, first you have to build up the general strength. That's just become, have a strong leg, strong upper body.
Go, 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 up, 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 up.
No, you don't need much. Just you have yourself and you have your skills. So just tie the few ropes together and a couple of sticks, and you got it.
All the way, straight on your arms.
The training of the child has to be well designed.
24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29.
We must not forget that there is a type of work that has to be done, you see.
27.
There is a type of education that you play, but I think by doing that you are overlooking a very fundamental development. Because human beings came on this planet to achieve something, and you don't achieve it by just sitting down.
43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48.
We need the stomach muscles to work. So we have to come all the way up and we have to twist. If you don't twist, you are not able to skate.
58, 59, 60.
And we see now that this particular development has to be done at a younger age, from let's say 8, 9, and 10. This is where he has the capability to make that particular effort or to be involved in intense work. And this leads to a physiological foundation that by the time he's 17, 18, he has, and he can see this fear don't have. So he can fit into making a greater effort, and if you can get him to do that when he has the right age. You boys try to pull that one outside. Yes. Take my stick there, you hook it there. Right at the end, and then you
The training has the same foundation as that in Old Crow: hard work, nutritious food, and rest. This same formula continues back in Whitehorse.
Okay, so I'm going to go there. You come one by one.
When Father Mouche was close to 80, he added rollerblading as a training tool.
When you rollerblade, you have what we could call a uniform surface, you know? It's always the same surface, like if you ski, the snow is not uniform. It could be cold, it could be warm, it could be wet, it could be dry. So it affects the, the glide. Eh? Here you got something uniform, see? If you train with too fast wheels, I don't think you get too much out of it because you don't have enough resistance. If you're serious, you could really improve your ski skating with the rollerblade. Then you can use pole instead of not being able to ski. What I would advise you to do is to brush the surface or the highway with your foot like that. And then when the foot is behind the other one, you press your heel and push. Eh? You see what I mean? But to push well, you have to slightly sit down. Okay? You understand what I'm trying to say? So we'll work here back and forth. But we have to work uphill, eh?
Just before ski season starts, interval training and heart rate measurement help build performance to a peak.
Good, Sam.
Huh? Same? That's good. That's if you can maintain that in practice. Huh? See, when you race, always say, my opponents, the heart rate is lower than mine, so I can do better. Okay, you ready? Go. Stop.
29.
Ah, 30, that's, you have to aim at 30. But you're not going to do that overnight, huh?
Yeah.
Takes a lot of repetition, I tell you. If the child don't understand, you see, what he's doing, or if he's pushed too hard, or if he's pushed the wrong way, if he competes just to beat the other guy, you know. But that goes with it too, you know.
The 180.
Well, that's all right. It's, you know, it's going to fluctuate, huh? You know, it's but the idea is in your mind. You know how to push. So you, from time to time, you test yourself into a training practice like that. Then when you race, you know, I mean, your brain's going to tell you, Mike, you can go faster. See? Huh? If you get good measurement, like in a race and all that, you can boost your self-esteem, who you are, what you want to do, and so forth. If we're going to try to translate to the people in Canada or elsewhere who are interested in the First Nation, in their children, I think we have to look at the movement of cross-country skiing. I was not satisfied with racing and the performance in the line of developing a cross-country skier where he would be a top athlete or a racer or all that. I was looking for something else, and the cross-country skiing was only a mean to explore that, see, but it was a powerful mean.
Mouché's emphasis on physical fitness as a route to developing self-esteem creates a different attitude toward competition.
Competition is just a way to have fun and to test yourself against other people. You can make it serious, or you can make it as like a game kind of thing. I think some people get just kind of worked up when they think of it too seriously, and they don't really see their performance as being all that great if they don't place well or something like that. Personally, I think you should view competition as just to, I don't know, go really hard, pretty much, and just get it all out. Like, it's just great, because you can actually move fast, and you're going in your own power. Really calms you down afterwards. Like, you just think clearer, and you're a lot more at peace with everything after you finish a race. It's just a great feeling.
Over 40 years after the inception of Father Mouché's test skiing program, the rhythms of the North are changing yet again. In Old Crow today, skidoo and chainsaw can do in a few hours what used to take days with axe and a dog team. The well-tramped trails that tied the village together are now wide gravel roads. Most of the old cabins have been replaced by large new houses. Nursing station, new school, store, band hall describe points of an infrastructure. A large runway crosses the town. The isolation in the 50s is now more mystique than reality. Planes come and go nearly every day, and the 500-channel universe has arrived. In a short span of years, the society has moved from self-sustaining hunting and trapping to high unemployment. The loss of economic independence brings poverty, inactivity, addictions, and chronic disease. It's hard times of the soft, deadly kind right across the north, and the kids need challenges to become strong.
And the number one problem that we have, and people don't like to come out and admit it, is the alcohol problem. But if you can't break that circle, then who are we and what are we doing for the sake of the younger generation? Because they'll just keep going and keep going and keep going. That circle's got to be broken somewhere. All we can do is just hope and pray for the sake of the younger generation, because they are our next leaders. You know, I look at what's here, and you know, the only thing I could say is that, you know, I have a lot of dreams, and for the younger generation, and a lot of hope.
The child of today has probably a lot more problem than his parents or grandparents, but if you activate what I call his physiology, I think you're going to give him a chance to move on better, because if you activate physiology, and we prove it, you activate his motivation, you know?
30 years after the heyday of the test skiing program, a symposium was held at Inuvik. Former skiers and coaches gathered to reminisce about the good times and to honor the founder of the program.
Like I said yesterday, I think there's a great tie between this sport and the North. And I want you to know right off the bat that I don't think it's just another sport you have in the North. I think it's the sport for the North. If you want to make basketball players, you need some pretty tall people. If you want to make hockey players, you need some people built like me and a foot taller. But with cross-country skiing, you need something a bit different. And the wonderful thing about it is if you're a little shorter, you will just end up having a higher tempo than a guy that's a bit taller. So it's a sport everybody can do well in, I think. And another advantage of the sport is that the facilities are kind of reasonable. You just got to cut some of those smaller trees you have up here. And you have to be tough. And life is changing quite a bit today. But I think there's still a lot of toughness in the people of the North. Because I think it's important to remember that you, as Northerners, have many things you can be proud of your skiers. There are so many accomplishments. Sharon and Shirley, they were the first ones in Canada that went to 4 Winter Olympics. Well, that's an accomplishment. Between each other, they got almost 50 Canadian ski championships. That's a record that I believe never will be broken.
The real gem here. This is from when we went to Czechoslovakia, 1970. We were just kids, and they said this about us. Today we see real Indians in the ski tracks. They actually have Indian blood running through their veins.
I want to thank, Father Moshe, merci, merci bien, mon père. That was the first person that ever talked to me besides my own relatives, saying encouraging words to me. And it was good to hear that. What he was saying is your people, you know. They're tough people, and they'll be chasing dogs, and maybe you don't know they're chasing women too, you know. So I follow that advice. Here's Father Moshe, you know, telling me how to ski, and I was thinking, you know, this old man here, he can't keep up with me once I get going, you know. I was really at the top of my speed, you know. About halfway down Suicide Hill, boy, I really thought I had the world by the tail. Until I heard the word track. Who the hell is gonna track me on the way down? Straight down. Here I'm almost falling. Trying to turn and all that. And there it was Father Moshe. Just smiling. I think he had a pipe in his mouth too.
And the former skiers talk about whether the program has relevance today. Can it be built again for today's youth?
Coming back here to the test program, you know, it was a lot of good feelings. There's a lot of, you know, a couple of times there's emotional feelings. I'd like to see the younger kids come back to it, you know, because they got so much potential, you know, there's so much they got to offer. You got a lot of younger generation coming up, and they could surprise us.
I think you're at a stage today where you got to look at this thing and use the experiences of the past and decide whether you want to have another test program. I certainly think you should have one. I certainly think you need one. And I certainly think it would be a wonderful thing.
Sorry to say, you know, that we're getting very young age to be couch potatoes. And we need to do something about it. And it's not going to come from the top. It's not going to come from the coaches. And I like Father's idea, and it starts in a home, and most times it starts with the mothers.
The people of Old Crow have a very extremely important physiology. The physiology of the people of Old Crow, like in Mackenzie Delta, the First Sister, and all of you living in the north, is something very special, but nothing has been done about it. Now can we go back to that physiology? You know, I'm not afraid to use the word anymore. It's there. But to do it, I think we will have to put our head together. And if we're going to do something, we have, before we make a skier or a test skier, we have to make those kids healthy. That's the first thing. We have a very short time. 7, 8, 9. At 10 years old, for most of them, it's already too late. You know, you have kids who are 6, 7, they're already obese. So, you know, maybe if we scratch our head, maybe this is where we have to start. And excuse me again, we have to start with the foundation, and the foundation is the physiology. Thank you very much.
In Old Crow today, there is a movement to restore the test skiing program to its former glory and to use physical fitness to help motivate today's youth.
All I could tell the younger generation is society has changed so much, but if it's cross-country skiing, that's where you want to go. Always challenge yourself to be the best. You know, you can't bring social problems or the problems around you into it, because It doesn't go, it doesn't mix. And you gotta love the sport. If you don't love it, then it's not gonna work.
One thing I learned through skiing is that just through a lot of the personal challenges I've met is that you know, I have choices and so does everybody else, you know, and skiing really helped me to feel good about myself and about the world, and life is what we make it.
You know, the feeling is like you got the whole world in your hand, and you know you could go out and you could do the best you can and you could achieve something in life.
The program is not exactly a ski program, but it's more like a philosophy of life.
March in Old Crow, more light, more whiteness and cold, dreams of childhood, springtime of his native France, rising scent of warm earth, projected images in contrast. After all, nothing has changed. The north wind seems to pick up the signs, join them together and offer them as a gift, like a stroke from a brush on the canvas that is yourself.